that have evolved over millions of years. They are related to the ever-present cockroach and are most directly related to wood-eating cockroaches. The most damaging termite to our homes is the subterranean termite. Subterranean termites live primarily in the ground, leaving the ground only in search of food. Termites are one of only a few types of animals that can digest the main chemical component of wood, cellulose. The termite's ability to digest wood is its most valuable contribution to the cycle of nature. Without termites, the world might very well be covered with a layer of dead or decaying wood. Most termites consume only grasses or decayed wood. Only a few species of termites consume sound, undecayed wood, the kind of wood we use to build our homes with. The fact these species of termites will search for food above ground as well as below is why they are such a problem for homeowners. What may be beneficial to the cycle of nature is in fact a potential nightmare for a homeowner. You probably don't think of termites as a threat to your home on the same scale as a hurricane. And it's hard to imagine termites causing damage as bad as fire. Yet year after year, termites damage more homes than hurricanes, tornadoes, and fires combined. Subterranean termites live collectively in large groups called colonies. Colonies, whose members can number in the thousands and even millions depending on the species of termite, live in underground nests. These nests are located in most of the temperate and tropical regions of the earth. Just because you may not see termites doesn't mean they aren't there. Within each colony are several different types of termites. Each different type of termite in a colony has a different duty to perform. This specialization of duties within the colony is an important key to the success of termites and their ability to consume large amounts of wood. Let's look at the different types of colony members that live and work in the nest. Together with the king, the queen is responsible for growing the colony. The queen is the largest type of termite in the colony. In fact, by comparison to other termites, she is tremendous in size. The queen is a proverbial egg-laying machine. She can lay thousands of eggs a day from her enlarged abdomen. Queen termites can live a very long time, in some instances, as long as 20 years. The king termite serves one purpose, to mate with the queen. The king is much smaller than the queen, and he lives his entire life at her side. The soldier termite's only duty is to defend the colony against external threats. Their mouthparts are highly specialized defense mechanisms, useful only for defense. This specialization leaves soldier termites unable to care for themselves. Soldiers are totally reliant on the other colony members for their food and care. Worker termites are the foundation of the colony and are the most numerous type of termite in the colony. They perform all functions of the colony other than reproduction and defense. They are responsible for the care and feeding of other colony members. They are highly efficient at locating food, an important fact to remember. It is the worker termite that is solely responsible for damage to wood. Nymphs are immature young termite colony members. Based on their exposure to different chemical hormones at different points in their life cycle, nymphs can mature into any of the other types of colony members. These hormonal signals are transmitted to the nymphs based on the needs of the colony for more or less of different types of colony members. The division of duty between different types of colony members makes a termite colony an efficient consumer of wood. This is certainly good for the environment, but bad for the unsuspecting homeowner. Termites are secretive insects that always work out of view. They make every effort to keep their presence undetected for several reasons. First, despite the presence of defensive soldier termites, termite colonies have little protection against disturbances, such as movement of a food source they are inhabiting. In most cases, the only protection that termites have against such disturbances is to abandon the disturbed area or food source. Termites are soft-bodied insects whose skin offers no real protection against the outside environment. To protect themselves, they must construct enclosed tunnels to move between their nest and distant points, such as a food source. Termite tunnels are constructed of glued-together soil or whatever other loose matter is available. Mature termite colonies perform an annual event that is often the only clue to the existence of the colony: the release of still another type of colony member out into the general environment. These colony members are winged reproductive termites, often referred to as swarmers. These termites are called swarmers because they leave the colony in group flights that often consist of a mass of thousands of fluttering termites that look like a swarm. The purpose of the swarming process is very simple: to disperse reproductive termites to form more termite colonies nearby. Colonies time the release of swarmers carefully to coincide with periods of ideal atmospheric conditions, such as moderate heat, calm winds, and high relative humidity. This timing increases the likelihood that the swarmers will be successful in establishing their new colonies. Most types of termites swarm once or twice a year. Swarms occur at different times of the year depending on the species of subterranean termite. Some types of termites swarm in the spring, others in the fall. Regardless of when a swarm occurs, its function is always the same: to form new colonies. As seen here, swarms normally occur out of human view in an area such as a forest and are of no concern. Termites become a subject of concern only when they focus their attack on processed forms of cellulose, such as the wood in a building. During the construction of a house, many, but not all food sources in the ground are removed. However, termite colonies in the ground remain in place and hungry as ever. When a house is built in an area infested with termites, worker termites from the colony continue to search for food in the same area, which is now occupied by a new house. Worker termites are determined searchers. This is because their continued success at locating food is vital to the continued survival of the colony. While there's no proof of it, it often seems that termites can somehow sense the presence of wood far above the ground they are inhabiting, particularly if the wood has a high moisture content. Although they are called subterranean termites, this label can be misleading, as they often search above ground for food. Their search can take them anywhere there's food, including the above-ground parts of a wooden structure. In their search, termites can gain access to structures in many ways. Most often, they enter through cracks in concrete slabs, or openings in masonry building materials, such as voids in concrete blocks. Some homeowners, living in houses built on concrete slabs, may believe they are protected against termites by the slab beneath their home. However, slab homes are often the type of dwelling most easily infested by termites. Termites can penetrate through cracks as narrow as a penny, and the formation of such cracks in the slab is often inevitable as the structure ages and settles. When workers locate a passageway into the structure, the first step of their invasion is the construction of exploratory tunnels. After a food source is located in a structure, additional worker termites are signaled by the first invaders to help in exploiting this new food source. Termites are so adept at concealing their presence in a structure that a termite attack can continue for a long period of time, completely undetected. Termite attacks can be made even more severe by the presence of conditions that maximize termite feeding, such as the presence of excess moisture in the wood, perhaps the result of a plumbing or roof leak or landscaping problem. Even though they may only be a few feet away, most homeowners never see worker termites destroying their home. The longer worker termites are able to damage a home undetected, the more damage they can do. Some termite attacks against homes can go undetected for many years, resulting in thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars of damage. Then, and all too often, homeowners are confronted with what can seem to be an almost cataclysmic event: the emergence of swarmers inside their home. Sometimes large swarms inside homes can be very dramatic, as they take flight and literally fill the room. Although their sudden appearance can be alarming, swarmer termites do not damage wood. Only worker termites damage wood. Finding swarmer termites inside or around the structure is not necessarily proof that the structure is being damaged by termites. But it should tell you that a professional termite inspection of the property is in order. It is said that there are two types of homes, those that have been attacked by termites and those that will be. The fact that swarmers may have never appeared in your home is no reason to rest easy against the possibility of a termite attack. A professional termite inspection of the premises is a good start to the process of protecting the structure against termite attack. An inspection will provide valuable information about the possibility of an ongoing termite attack. Unfortunately, even the best termite inspection faces important limitations. Inspections are normally limited to the accessible and visible parts of the structure. These, however, are the very parts of the structure least likely to be affected by termites. Because of the termite's secretive nature, it is not normally possible to examine all points of potential termite attacks against a home, such as areas behind walls or within masonry components. Inspections are valuable for what they can find, but an inspection that does not find termites must not be relied upon as proof that termites are not attacking the structure. The best protection of your structure against termite attack is a professionally applied and maintained termite protection service. Traditionally, homes such as yours have been protected against termite attack with the application of a chemical barrier or zone around and under the structure. The goal of this process is to place a toxicant between the structure and the ground beneath it. Depending on the type of product used, barrier treatments work by either repelling termites as they attempt to enter the structure or by killing termites at some point after they come in contact with the barrier. Barrier treatments can be an effective form of termite control. However, they have their limitations. Barriers are effective only as long as they are in place and are of a certain strength or potency. If a barrier is physically disturbed by events such as running water or soil movement, the continuity of the barrier can be interrupted, resulting in gaps through which termites can gain access to the structure. The effective life of a barrier treatment can be highly dependent upon the strength or concentration at which it is applied. If a barrier is applied at a low strength, or if a barrier degrades over time, termites can regain access to the structure. Barrier chemicals, now in use, do not last as long as previously available barrier chemicals. These chemicals have been banned. This makes it necessary to reapply barrier treatments more frequently in order to ensure the structure is always protected. The process of applying a barrier can be an invasive process. To form a barrier under a structure, it may be necessary to drill a large number of holes in the outer surface of the structure. These are necessary to inject the barrier toxicant between the structure and the earth. It can be particularly difficult to form an effective barrier under an already completed structure, and it is simply not possible to form a complete barrier under all parts of a typical in-place concrete slab. Often, a barrier product can only be applied under the outer perimeter of this type of structure. This means that if a crack forms in the middle of the slab, termites may have free access to the structure. The barrier application process might in some cases even require the removal of interior finished surfaces. Finally, barrier applications can involve the application of hundreds of gallons of toxicant spray under your home or into the environment around it. Remember, the level of effectiveness of a barrier is highly dependent on the thoroughness with which the barrier is applied. However, the more thoroughly the barrier is applied, the more toxicant is left in place around the structure. And once the toxic barrier is applied, it cannot be removed easily. In summary, barriers act on termites only if they are attacking the structure or attempting to attack the structure. Barriers can be thought of as a passive or defensive approach to termite control. The barrier application process can involve the application of hundreds of gallons of toxicant-containing solution around your home. The application process can be invasive as well as labor-intensive, and once applied, a barrier cannot be easily removed. In contrast to barriers, a newer and more advanced method of termite control recently introduced is gaining wide acceptance. This method is called termite baiting. Although the goal of both barriers and baiting is the same, There is a world of difference between the two methods. Termite baiting can be thought of as a proactive or offensive approach to termite control. Instead of needing to wait for termites to attempt to attack before being effective, as is the case with barriers, the baiting process seeks out termites where they live and deals with them there, often well before they ever attempt to attack the structure. In contrast to the larger amounts of toxicant used in barrier applications, baiting involves the strategic application of very small quantities of toxicants. It has been estimated that a home can be protected from termites by baiting with as little as 1/10,000th of the amount of toxicant needed to protect it using some barrier treatment products. Unlike barrier toxicants, termite bait products are applied only when termites are present, and a termite bait product can be quickly and easily removed from a structure if it becomes necessary. Unlike the labor-intensive nature of a barrier application, baiting is a knowledge-intensive process. Instead of relying on large amounts of manual labor like a barrier application, baiting relies on termites to do much of the work themselves. The premise underlying termite baiting is very simple: that a termite colony can be eliminated as a result of its members consuming a bait, and that a properly designed and deployed termite baiting system can eliminate all termite colonies in the ground under a structure, thereby protecting it against termite attack. Your home is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and termites could be the single biggest threat to this investment. To protect your home against termites, you want the very best in termite protection. Homes such as yours have been traditionally protected by barrier treatment. However, now, there is something newer and more advanced. That something is the Exterra termite interception and baiting system. The name Exterra is derived from a combination of words: exterminating termites, and terra, which is Latin for earth, exterminating termites in the earth. Let's learn more about termite baiting with Exterra. Exterra is an exciting new termite control technology that protects structures against termites in a new way, by actually eliminating the termite colony. In order to accomplish this, Exterra has been carefully designed to deal with the habits and protective instincts of the termite colonies it seeks to eliminate. Termite baiting systems kill a termite colony as a result of the colony consuming a toxic bait. For this reason, a baiting system must congregate termites at selected points where they feed on the bait. Termites should be provided easy access to the feeding points, while access by other animals or humans should be restricted. This is accomplished by feeding a bait to a termite colony inside an in-ground station. Exterra uses specially designed and configured stations as shown here. Termites access the interior of the station through slots in the sides of the stations. These openings are large enough to allow termites to enter the station, while restricting, for instance, the entry of a child's hand or a pet. Termites cannot be attracted. However, if a food substance is placed in the ground near their nest, they will normally find it and begin to consume it. For this reason, the first step in the Exterra termite baiting process is the installation of wooden interceptors in the station. The interceptors line the inside of the walls of the station, leaving a vacant cavity at the center of the station. The interceptors rest against the walls, where they are in contact with the slots. Termites enter the station through the slots and begin feeding on the interceptors, thereby establishing termite feeding in the station. The arrangement of the wooden interceptors in the Exterra station is unique, and for good reason. It's patented. This arrangement of the interceptors allows the entire interception and baiting process to occur in a station without the interceptors ever being moved or disturbed at any point in the process. When termites are found in a station consuming an interceptor, bait is placed in the vacant cavity in the middle of the station, surrounded by the termite-infested wood interceptors. Because the interceptors are not removed when bait is applied, intercepted termites found feeding on the interceptors are never disturbed. This disturbance reduction technique reduces the possibility that the bait application process will disrupt termites feeding in the station. which could cause them to leave the station. This patented disturbance reduction baiting method is an important key to the effectiveness of Exterra. After the bait is installed, the termites potentially have two food sources, the toxic bait and the non-toxic interceptors. But because the bait is designed to be more desirable to termites than even wood, the termites quickly transition from consuming the wood interceptors to consuming the bait. Just as important to the success of Exterra as the patented interception and baiting method is the careful selection of the toxicant used in the bait. Most any type of toxicant can kill a termite, but not every toxicant can eliminate a termite colony. Why is this the case? First, because most toxicants kill insects too quickly. Second, because of the way that termite colony members react to any threat against their colony. Consider what would happen if foraging worker termites found and began consuming a termite bait containing a quick-acting toxicant. Worker termites that fed on the bait would die soon after they began consuming the bait, with many termites dying directly within the bait. Remaining colony members arriving at the bait would discover large numbers of dead colony members in the bait. These remaining colony members would instinctively avoid any contact with that bait. This would mean the toxicant had failed to eliminate the termite colony. So how can we deal with this potential problem? By employing a slow-acting bait toxicant, termites consuming a bait containing the right slow-acting toxicant would not die in the bait, but would instead die sometime after they had left the bait and returned to the nest. When they left the bait to return to the nest, these termites would instinctively take some of the bait back with them to the nest to feed to the other colony members. Because of this, the bait toxicant would be widely spread among all colony members back at the nest, allowing it to affect and eventually kill all members of the colony, and not just those who actually visited the bait. The toxicant used in Exterra is in fact a slow-acting toxicant. The toxicant used with Exterra kills slowly because it kills termites only at a certain point in their life cycle. This critical point is at the time of their molting. Molting is a process by which growing termites shed their outer skeleton. The skeleton must be shed because as termites grow, their outer skeleton does not grow with them. Instead, they shed their existing skeleton to form a new, larger one. Most termites molt on a regular basis throughout their life cycle. The toxicant used with Exterra belongs to a class of toxicants called chitin synthesis inhibitors. Chitin is an important component of the termite's outer skeleton, which is called an exoskeleton. The toxicant inhibits or stops the formation of chitin in the termite's new exoskeleton at the time of molting. Therefore, the termite dies because it cannot successfully complete the molting process. The name of the bait used with Exterra is labyrinth. It is called labyrinth because after it is infested with termites, it takes on the appearance of a labyrinth or maze. The toxicant used in labyrinth is very powerful and is able to prevent normal termite molting at a very low level in the termite's diet. In fact, the toxicant in labyrinth is so powerful that termites can no longer eat a few weeks after they begin to feed on it. This means that further damage to a structure by a colony begins to slow and is soon stopped after the colony begins to consume labyrinth, even before all the members of the colony actually die. As powerful as it is in killing termites, the active ingredient is very low in toxicity to humans. This is because humans do not have exoskeletons and do not molt. In fact, the toxicant is less toxic than table salt. Now let's put all we have learned together and see Exterra in action. Here, we see a house under termite attack. Termites appear to be entering the structure at multiple points. The owner may or may not know that the structure is under attack from termites. This is a job for Exterra. The first step of using Exterra is station installation. To protect the entire structure, Exterra stations are placed in the ground at regular intervals, completely around the outside of the structure. Stations may be placed closer together in areas of identified termite activity, or in areas with a high likelihood of activity, such as areas of mulch and areas of moderate soil moisture. Here's a close-up of a point where the house was under termite attack. As we can see, the termites have firmly established a presence in the walls of the house. This infestation has been ongoing for some time. As noted before, special attention is given to placing stations in areas of identified termite activity. This can help speed the process of establishing termite activity in the stations. After a period of time, foraging worker termites find the stations and begin to consume the wooden interceptors. As long as they are not disturbed, termites will continue to infest the station. When termites are found in the station, bait is applied. The termites quickly transition from consuming the interceptors to consuming the bait because of their high preference for it. As the colony consumes more and more labyrinth and colony members are affected by it, the number of colony members steadily declines. This reduction in the number of colony members makes it increasingly difficult for the remaining worker termites to maintain the colony, as each remaining worker must do more and more work to keep order in the colony. Finally, after a high percentage of worker termites have been eliminated, the colony collapses. Soon after all the worker termites die, all the remaining colony members perish because they are unable to care for themselves. After the colony is eliminated, any remaining bait and interceptors are removed and replaced by fresh interceptors. The process of making regular inspections of the stations then resumes. It is necessary to continue to inspect the stations in the event another termite colony invades the area previously inhabited by the now eliminated colony. Most termite baiting occurs in Exterra, in ground stations, as we have just seen. If an above-ground point termite attack against the structure can be located, it may also be possible to intercept and bait the colony directly at the point with an Exterra above-ground station, as shown here. This is not always possible. However, it can oftentimes be done if a point of attack can be located and a station can be conveniently positioned. Above-ground stations can help speed colony elimination. This is because in many cases, termite bait feeding can be established sooner in an above-ground station than in an in-ground station. The only real difference between in-ground and above-ground use of Exterra is that with the above-ground station, no interceptors are used. Instead, bait is used to both intercept and eliminate the colony. As soon as the colony is eliminated, the station is removed. Using Exterra is a multi-step process that involves servicing numerous stations. To know what to do each time a station is inspected, an Exterra baiting technician must have up-to-date information available to them about the progress of the baiting process at that station. Exterra handles this with Exterras. Exterras stands for Exterra Information System. Exterras collects information whenever a station inspection is made. This information is then transferred to a central office computer. The central office computer turns this information into reports that keep the Exterra technician informed about the conditions at each site. As you've now seen, Exterra offers a bold new approach to an age-old problem. Our new technology can help eliminate the threat of termites to your home by eliminating their home, the colony. Exterra is the newest and most efficient way to handle a serious problem like termites. When you're looking to protect your home from termites, Exterra is the name to remember. E-X-T-E-R-R-A, Exterra. Termites don't like us, but homeowners in the know love us.